Hi, this video is for all the wives who want to be happy in their marriage, but they just don't know what to do. They are confused because it seems like a lot of work and hard work. Nobody wants to do hard work. So it seems confusing, overwhelming, even frustrating because you don't know where to start. And it's then not in your control because you have to wait for your husband to be a good husband too. So then you can have a happy marriage, right? So there are these five misconceptions that are most probably keeping you stuck and unhappy, and they are making you feel like it's the end of the road, that you're condemned to a life of unhappiness, and not even looking for solutions, not even looking for how to make it easy and fun and how to be happy, basically, right? It's scary. So I will tell you about the five myths, five misconceptions, and when you go over this, um, doors of possibility will open in your brain and you can look for solutions and you can make things easier. So, number one misconception is exactly this, that marriage is a two-way street and you have to wait for your husband to be a good husband. So then you can be a good wife, like quote unquote, whatever means for you a good wife, right? Respectful, listening, paying attention, being present, right? Just focusing on how you communicate, maybe, I don't know, like whatever a good wife means to you and a good husband, you're waiting for your husband to do his part and then you can do your part. I did this too. So I know there's no shame, absolutely no shame, no blame. But this is what most of us do, right? And it's so just empowering. Why should I wait for my husband to be a good husband and like kind of give me permission to be a good wife? Why can't I choose to be whatever a good wife means to me? Because it feels good to me. It feels dignified. It feels mature. And I want to be the best version of myself. Why should I wait for my husband to be the best version of myself? Right? It feels so mature. Take responsibility, accountability, power to do and to be whoever you want to be, even if the people around you are not their best selves. I love this quote. Actually, I probably said it a million times. You can't access other people's best self if you're not your best self. So why not you start? Why not um, you being the first who's being her best self, and then you attract others being their best self, right? Why wait for years to be like stuck and unhappy when you can choose like to do whatever is in your power to be like just to do your part, right? Like just to do whatever your share you think that is. By the way, I mostly work with wives. I have couples too, but I mostly work with wives and they make amazing, like they save marriages from the most incredible situations you couldn't believe, right? So, marriage and relationships are a system. If one person from that system changes, the other one will respond to the changes. The whole system changes, right? Relationships are reactional. I always say this, people react to how you act with them, right? So instead of you also reacting to how they act with you, why wouldn't you be proactive and they react to you? So kind of it's taking reins emotionally, right? And directing a relationship and influencing a relationship in the way you want it to go. It feels so powerful and so nice. And as women, we have this, right? It's called relational intelligence. Most of us, because we focus so much on academic intelligence, we don't tap into that relational intelligence, but we have it. Like my program is called the Smart Wife, exactly. Uh, that's why it's called the Smart Wife, because it's about relational intelligence. It's about being smart in relationships. That brings me to number two. What most of us believe, and you might believe it too, that your husband is the one who makes you happy or unhappy, and you cannot be happy unless he does a list of things. So when he will do that list of things, you're going to be happy. Well, I have so many wives who their husbands seem perfect from the outside, like they do chores, they spend time with their kids, they bring flowers, they go to work, but they are still unhappy because the outside things are not the things that make us happy, right? So if we have um a thinking system and even hormones. It's related to so many things, but mostly it comes from the mind. If you think in a way that makes you unhappy, no matter what happens on the outside, you will still be unhappy. It's such a sad realization when you get all the things you thought they are going to make you happy and just see, like, oh my God, this didn't make me happy. The house, the car, the holidays, the husband, the flowers, the chocolates, the diamonds, the whatever that is in your case. It's so scary to see, like, oh, what do I do now? Right? Because I thought achievements make me happy. I thought things make me happy. I thought other people make me happy. So you have to learn this lesson that happiness only comes from the inside, from how you're thinking, from your decisions, perspectives on life, on people. Accepting people as not being perfect actually makes you more happy than trying to make other people perfect and act perfectly with you. This is what I do in my Smart Wife program. By the way, you can book a free marriage analysis call. This is how all the wives who work with me start. And we have a marriage analysis. We go through all the areas in your marriage. We look at what's working, what's not working, what you should do differently. We make a game plan. If you want me to help you implementing the game plan, perfect. If not, it's still like the best investment you can make into your marriage. For me too, it helps me too. It helps me with getting to know a wide range of people, creating programs and content for a wide range of people. So it's totally worth my time to give this free to you, and it's definitely worth your time. It's really analyzing, getting clarity, seeing what the actual problems are and what the actual solutions are. Most of the times, women try to solve the wrong problem in their marriage. So they think they have a problem, but they actually have another problem. This is maybe for another video. Number three, misunderstanding is that communication is everything. Well, yes and no in the same time, because most people think communication is about talking. Let's sit down and talk about our problems. This is not communication. This is maybe conflict resolution, but this is not communication. What I teach in my Smart Wife program is that nonverbal communication is actually more important than verbal communication, right? So this is the misunderstanding that people think when we say communication is everything, that we talk about verbal communication. No, it's nonverbal communication says a lot more and saves your marriage and improves your marriage a lot more than verbal communication. And actually listening and talking less, especially in the beginning, right? When you take a step back and you kind of look at, okay, what's happening and being more present and everything, some self-reflection is required and some more listening than talking. And this resolves a lot more than verbal talking. As women, we need the verbal talking because this is how we let off steam and we need to talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. But it's just to calm our nervous system. We don't get to solutions probably, right? How many times did you try to talk things out with your husband and you even either ended up in a fight or just like no solution, just a dead end? All wives tell me this. Like usually because we don't know how to like handle conflict and have these discussions, we end up nowhere or in a big fight or in a cold war and we don't like we try to speak, but then we don't speak for 3 days. So, like verbal communication is far from being everything. Like actually listening and nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication is what you think and feel about yourself, about your husband, about the relationship. It's your attitude, it's your energy. Again, your perspective, your decisions. It's a lot of the things that you don't talk, but we can see it on your face, right? Um, and about verbal communication, yes, it is important. It's important to speak more clearly in sentences, especially with your husband, with short, powerful sentences that your husband can actually listen to. When we talk between women, we speak in 10 sentences, something that can be said in one sentence, because we want to say like what we think, what we perceive the other person, how they felt, how we felt. It's a lot of talking that's very confusing to a male's brain, and they cannot listen to that, right? I'm not going to go into this rabbit hole. I should do a video like just on communication. I can actually do 10, right? Like, number 4 is that working on your marriage is hard. I was having a hard time reading my writing. So working on your marriage is hard. It might feel hard, or it might even be hard, but it's a million times easier than being in a bad marriage, than being unhappy in your marriage, than being stuck and thinking there's no option for you, that you just have to wait for the kids to grow up and then you leave. That is so hard. Living day by day, unhappy and exhausted mentally and emotionally and alone, and just fighting and going with the motions every day, or feeling disconnected. It's so much harder than working on your marriage. Even if working on your marriage can feel sometimes hard because you're doing things differently. You're learning new ways of communication. You're learning to, as I said, like in the beginning, maybe just take a step back and see, okay, what's happening? Have some awareness of the situation. See it like an observer. Okay, this is what's happening. This is what I'm feeling. This is what he's understanding. So it might feel a bit, I don't even want to say hard, just different, right? Because we do things differently and more consciously. Um, and we're actually learning or relearning relational intelligence, right? But again, it's a million times easier than being in an unhappy marriage. Like that is the worst, right? It takes so much from our energy, from our mental and emotional well-being. It makes us like having a good marriage makes you a better mom, better in your career, better in everything, just healthier, right? Like mental and emotional well-being makes you healthier in all the ways possible. Again, this is what I do in my Smart Wife program, and everyone starts with booking that call that I talked about. I will put it in the description and comments. It's called marriage analysis. And misconception number 5. Oh, I love this one. So that love just disappears. So we were in love, now we're not in love anymore. So people, most of us don't know. I had to learn it the hard way, right? And the academic way and the scientific way too, that we are the ones who create emotions with our thoughts, with our actions, with our decisions, with our perceptions, right? What I said. So we create connection, we create love. So the same way we fall out of love, we can fall back in love. Um, Desire, the same. Oh, of course, in the beginning, there's a lot of hormones, there's a lot of desire. That desire fades and it's just normal. It's not normal. It's ordinary, but it's not normal. You can create desire, yes, with things you do with your body, with your mind, with your perceptions, with your decisions. I always say these perceptions, decisions, with your thoughts. You can create desire. You can feel attracted. You can feel attractive and attractive, right? Like it's a bit of like mental work and maybe journaling, right? But it's so worth it. Like just imagine the power knowing that you create your emotions. Like you can create feeling good. How powerful is this? But of course, like nobody knows this. It's not academic intelligence. It's relational intelligence. It takes knowing yourself, right? So this is another of the big misconceptions. Let me know in the comments. I'm very, very curious which one of these resonates the most. Which one of these do you feel like you have a hard time believing that it's a myth and it's a misconception? And you want to tell me, no, that's not true. Like, actually, I cannot be happy unless my husband makes me happy, or I cannot be happy in my marriage unless my husband does his part. Or I don't know, that communication is everything. Tell me what resonated and even what not resonated. It's important to hear information that makes you wonder or makes you even a bit angry, like, oh, I don't believe this. But then, like, if something changes and you even question it, right? Like a door opens, a door of possibility, right? And then that thing that's not working in your life, you can change it if there's a possibility to change it, even if it makes you angry because you believed it all your life. That, oh, like marriage is a two-way street. Communication is everything. Let me know what resonated. And again, if you want, it's a free marriage analysis session. It's the best session for you and for me. It's just great. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.